We'll get started in just a minute. Okay, thank you all for coming today and joining us online. Today is for our 13th Street Bridge project over Lost Creek and Terre Haute in Vigo County, Indiana, DES number 1700438. Today's public hearing is for the purpose to offer the public and interested parties the chance to comment on the environmental document section 106 and section 4F processes and preliminary plans for this project. Our agenda tonight, for those attending in person, there is a sign-up sheet in back. We will review how the public can provide comments for the project, go over the project history and its description, a little more detail in terms of the public statements for the official record of the project, and adjourn. And then if anybody here in person would like to have any questions informally answered, I will be available afterward. In order for the public to submit a comment, there are two ways, either verbally in person at this public hearing tonight. Those joining us or watching us online will be able to submit a comment in writing, either via mail or email. There's a comment form included in the information packet at back. A PDF copy of the form is included in the information packet available on the county website and available to be picked up through the county engineering office. And this form can be either emailed or mailed to HWC. Additional details for that will be later in the presentation. In order to submit the comment, there is a deadline for them to be officially recognized and included in the project file. That deadline is March 18th, and that all comments received by that date will be evaluated, reviewed, and given full consideration in the design process for this project. And an official response to all comments will be included in the final environmental document. The final environmental document, once completed, will be available for review through either a request through the county engineering or HWC. The legal notice for this public hearing was published in the local Terre Haute newspaper on the 12th and 19th. And a copy of the legal notice was also mailed to all consulting parties, the adjoining property owners, and public officials for the project area. So one of the reasons for today's meeting is for this bridge is that it has been classified as a historic bridge, and that is that falls underneath the section 106 process. And from that, we've already completed a seeking of the consulting parties and comments from the consulting parties. We've, if anybody at the bridge has seen it, there's been signs posted for marketing this bridge for reuse, and a legal notice for that was also published. And we've completed a alternatives analysis that includes identifying a preferred alternative, and we are completing this current step, which is holding this public hearing. And the final step of this 106 process will be to, after the comment period, respond to all comments and complete the environmental document process for this project. This hearing is required because this project is federally funded, and therefore the NEPA, or the National Environmental Policy Act, associated to federal regulation, applies to this project. And for this, and through that, the environmental document is called a CE, or categorical exclusion document, and it has been it's done to analyze the project and document any impacts of the project to the surrounding community and environment. And this project is following underneath a level 4 CE document. The project impacts have been described in detail in the CE4 document that has been available at the engineering office for the last couple of weeks. It's been available on the county engineering website as well. The CE document was originally released for public involvement on November 16th. And the CE will be revised and completed following this hearing, and to address any and all public comments received. And as noted, the CE and preliminary design plans for this project have been available for the public to view preceding this meeting through the county engineering office, and been posted on the county website. So part of the process for the environmental evaluation is to define the purpose and need of a project, and as I mentioned, screen the various alternates and their potential impacts to the environment and socio-economical impacts. The purpose of this project has been to increase the condition ratings of the bridge, known as the superstructure deck, and structural capacity of the bridge. Every bridge is broken into different components that are then assigned a rating, and that's what we've broken the purpose down into. And the reason or need for this project is because of the existing poor condition of the superstructure. It is currently having a load capacity of 23 tons, but that is below the standard requirements, which is 36 tons. We've had, for this project, through all alternatives analysis, we looked at 6 different alternatives. Those very quickly are a do-nothing option. If we don't do anything to the bridge, no work is done to it at all, no money is expended on it. Additional options included rehabbing according to the Secretary of Interior standards for continued vehicle use in a 2-lane configuration, a rehab not meeting the Secretary of Interior standards, and then rehab options in creating the bridge in a one-way pair configuration. And then the final configuration that was, or alternative that was evaluated, was a bypass bridge, a new bridge built next to the existing one, and then rehabbing the existing bridge, but closing it for vehicle traffic and leaving it in place. The results of this alternatives analysis is that the preferred alternative at this time is the rehabilitating of the existing bridge for continued vehicle use, but not meeting the Secretary of Interior's standards for rehabilitation. Some of the reasons why this is the preferred alternative is that it is a feasible and prudent alternative given construction costs and other factors, including environmental impacts to Lost Creek and right-of-way requirements. This option also satisfies the purpose and need that I mentioned earlier. However, the rehab not meeting a Secretary of Interior standards from a historical standpoint is viewed as a loss of the historical nature of this bridge. Some additional environmental considerations that are given when Some additional environmental topics that are investigated throughout the environmental review process include natural resources, socioeconomical impacts, historical and archaeological resources, noise and air quality, and hazardous materials. For this particular project, Lost Creek is the only natural resource in the area, and any impacts to it have been and will be regulated and controlled through the issuance of standard waterway permits through the Indiana Department of Natural Resources, the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, and the Army Corps of Engineers. For socioeconomical impacts, this project was not of a required size or scope to trigger an investigation into those topics. In terms of the historical nature, this bridge was the only historical resource within the project area. There were no archaeology resources in the area of the project site, and there are no changes or adverse impacts in terms of noise, air quality, or hazardous materials going to result as of this project as well. This project is going to rehab the existing bridge by removing and replacing the superstructure. That will consist of the beams and the parts of the road that the traveling public is using, the bridge railings, and then the foundations of the bridge will be left in place and reused. They will get necessary repairs and then modified as necessary to accept the new superstructure that will be built. For the final configuration, the roadway will have a clear roadway of 30 feet, consisting of both the lanes and shoulders. Here are a couple of the preliminary plans. There are several copies of these plans available around the room for everybody to look at. The general configuration of the bridge with its elevation, plan view, and a typical section of it. And this is a cross-section or typical section of the proposed new bridge superstructure. One of the requirements for these meetings is we need to go through review the right-of-way acquisition process. But for this project, there is no permanent or temporary right-of-way required for this project. The entire project is being completed within existing right-of-way owned by the city and county. Therefore, I will do my best to quickly cover these topics. There are a few copies of these booklets in the back for anybody who would like one. You feel free to take one with you. They are created and generated by the U.S. Department of Transportation and Federal Highway, and they have much better explanation in terms of the acquisition and relocation procedures that can accompany transportation projects. The real estate acquisition process is established and must comply with these Uniform Act and Uniform Relocation Acts. And that process includes, for acquisition, would include appraisals and review appraisals, negotiations, and all acquisitions require just compensation to the landowner. As mentioned, the compensation cannot be less than fair market value, and if there is no agreement reached, then mediation and condemnation would be potential steps. But for this project, that does not apply because we are an existing right-of-way. For the maintenance of traffic of this road during construction, 13th Street will be closed and a detour will be signed. Access to all of the local residents will be maintained throughout construction, and that will be a requirement placed upon the contractor. And the estimated cost for the preferred alternative of rehabbing this bridge is currently estimated at $1.23 million. The project schedule is, the current schedule is for the completion of this environmental document in early spring of this year. Such upon completing the environmental document, the anticipated final design phase would be completed by the late spring of this year, with a construction going to be starting in early 2022. The bid letting for this project is fall of 2021. The exact time window for construction may not start in early '22, but it will occur in '22 as scheduled. For anybody wishing to make a public comment, we need to have all of those received or postmarked by March 18th to ensure that the comments will be responded to. I cannot guarantee any comment received after that time frame would be included or make its way into the final environmental document. We will review all comments and evaluations they will all be given full consideration. Comments in writing can be mailed to my attention at the address provided on the screen, or if you prefer to send them via email, you may send them to my email address shown here. I ask that you please put the Vigo County Bridge 322 project in the subject line or in the body of the email somewhere so I can easily connect the dots between what your comment is and the project that it belongs to. For the public statements, we will not be issuing any official responses to the public comments at this time. All of these statements will be transcribed and included in the official public hearing transcript. We will first bring up anybody who signed up on the sign-up sheet in the back by name. We will call you up. Upon completing through that list, we will open the floor to anybody else wishing to make a comment. And if you wish to make an official comment for the public record, please come up to the podium microphone, state your name, as these are being recorded, and we will need to transcribe any comments, so please speak clearly and into the mic to the best of your ability. So at this time, I did not see anybody sign up wanting to make a public comment in the back. I will open up the floor to anybody who wishes to make an official public statement. And again, for anybody watching online, either currently or watching this after the event of the broadcast, you may email or mail a comment to myself at the information below or at the information shown, and they must be received by March 18th. With that brings the presentation portion of this meeting to a close. And again, if you have any comments, please send them mail them or email them. The public comment form is available online at the Vigo County website. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.